Sunrise on CW18 starts now.
Here at 9 a.m., we're taking you outside. Look at your screen. The temperature is 55 degrees right now, and we don't have that wind impacting it, so it really isn't going to feel like that. We're not climbing too high today, but later in the week, things are going to get much colder. We're checking in with First Warning meteorologist Eric Burris in just a few minutes here on Sunrise.
Good Monday morning. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Lindsay Sablon.
And I'm Jason Guy. This morning, there are major changes for a lot of people when it comes to commuting to work, school, or elsewhere. In Seminole County, almost all the Lynx bus routes have been eliminated. West 2's Bob Hazen is in Sanford, where those changes are now in effect.
They are gone as of this morning, and this sign is posted here at the Walmart on 1792 in Sanford. There are other similar signs posted at bus stops throughout the county, and it means a lot of people will have to find another way to get around today. Seminole County decided to scrap its agreement with Lynx for buses, and now they're using a company called Scout. It's an on-demand micro-transit service that lets you request a ride using Scout's app or their website, kind of like Uber or Lyft. It can cost between $4 to $14, depending on how far you have to go and what time you are going. Seminole County decided to get rid of the bus system because they say not enough people were using it here, and the Scout system is cheaper. But this is a big change from what a lot of people are used to, and we talked to some bus riders who are not happy about it.
It's going to be terrible for everybody that lives here and has to have this service. They don't care. They could care less.
The Scout has been operating for a while now in Seminole County, and from what we've seen, you do have to plan ahead. Some people have reported pretty long wait times, even up to an hour. Scout says it tries to keep it under 30 minutes. Again, most of the bus routes in Seminole County are gone now, but there are a couple left that do cross through the county. That includes the one along 436 that runs down Cimarron from between Altamont Springs and Castleberry. Also one along 1792 that ends at the Sunrail station, but everything else north of 436 is now gone. Covering Seminole County in Sanford, Bob Hazen, West 2 News.
A wrong-way driver's facing charges after a crash on I-95 in Brevard County. This happened early yesterday morning. Troopers say a 32-year-old man was driving southbound in the northbound lanes and then slammed head-on into a tractor-trailer right at mile marker 218. They say that wrong-way driver was found in the bushes. Both he and his 23-year-old male passenger did suffer severe injuries. The truck driver was not hurt. That crash is being treated now as a criminal investigation.
In Pine Hills, deputies are now investigating a shooting. It happened yesterday morning at around 4 on Altec Road. That's in a neighborhood near Powers Drive and Silver Star Road. When deputies arrived, they say they found a man in his 20s and a 19-year-old woman. Both have been shot and were taken to the hospital with what they're calling non-life-threatening injuries. So far, deputies have not named any suspects or released any possible motive.
Leaders of Iran say they are ready to negotiate with the U.S. as bloody protests challenge Iran's government entering now its third week. At least 544 people have been killed. The country's been under a communications blackout imposed by authorities for more than 84 hours. Those demonstrations started last month over the collapse of Iran's currency, partially due to international sanctions over the nuclear program.
And we have our Washington correspondent Rachel Hersheimer joining us from our D.C. bureau with the very latest this morning.
On Sunday, President Trump told reporters a meeting is being set up with Iran after the country called to negotiate. Take a listen to what he had to say.
We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up, but we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting. But a meeting is being set up. Iran called, they want to negotiate.
This morning, Iran's foreign minister claimed the situation has come under total control after a crackdown on nationwide protests in the country. He also alleged that nationwide protests in Iran turned violent and bloody to give an excuse for President Trump to intervene, but offered no actual evidence for his claim. At least 2 major outlets reported President Trump has been given military options for a strike on Iran, but hadn't made a final decision. Iran's parliament speaker says the U.S. military and Israel would be legitimate targets if America does launch a strike. The U.S.-based human rights activist news agency reports that so far, at least 544 people have been killed in Iran, including 496 protesters. In Washington, Rachel Hersheimer, West 2 News.
Meanwhile, people across the nation are taken to the streets. They are protesting against the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. It comes after a woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent last week in Minneapolis. These are just some of the images that we saw from major cities all over the U.S. over the weekend. The Trump administration says Renee Good committed an act of domestic terrorism, but state and local officials continue to reject that notion. Some lawmakers are pushing for policy changes, while others are calling to defund ICE operations.
I truly believe this officer, in his mind, thought his life was in danger, which allows him to use lethal force.
I think what we are seeing here is the federal government, Kristi Noem, Vice President Vance, Donald Trump, attempting to cover up what happened here in the Twin Cities. And I don't think that people here and around the country are believing it.
In downtown Orlando, hundreds of protesters also gathered right out in front of City Hall,
including Perry Lee, who took his family, his son, to go see those growing protests. He was donning his Captain American uniform, and he felt it sent a message.
I only did the Captain America theme because of what he fights for. He would never support anything even similar to ICE, anything similar to what they've been doing to people in general.
Now, Florida protesters who were upset about the recent events in Minneapolis kept it peaceful. There were dozens of police officers nearby closely watching things.
And demonstrations were held in Castleberry as well. That group organized what they call the ICE Out for Good protests, condemning the agency under the leadership of President Trump.
It seems from day to day there's always something else to be upset at. It feels chaotic. And so it feels gratifying to try to stay on top of it, assembling, speaking our minds, and doing something about it.
The group says they hope to see all Americans come together soon, but until then, they say they are going to keep protesting.
Anti-ICE protests here in Central Florida were quiet, but down in Boca Raton, this heckler was arrested and charged with 2 counts of battery. You're seeing some cell phone video footage of an altercation unfolding. Thomas Landry was arrested and is now out on bond. His arrest is described as a single, isolated criminal incident during the otherwise peaceful protest, authorities say, and it involved about 500 people. WESH 2 News is going to be closely following all the new developments in this deadly ICE shooting. We'll bring it to you on the air and online at WESH.com.
A new city ordinance is looking to improve safety for e-bike riders and pedestrians in Winter Garden. It sets standards for age, speed, and other safety regulations. E-bike riders now must be at least 15 years old, wear a helmet, and stay at or below 10 miles per hour when riding on sidewalks or off-roads. The ordinance says between sunset and sunrise, e-bikes must have a front light, and riders are now required to carry a government-issued ID and present it if they're asked by law enforcement.
School Choice opens today. This is a program allowing parents the freedom to pick which schools their children will attend. Parents can choose from public schools, private schools, homeschool, and even a virtual education environment, depending on what they think is best for their student. You can learn more about School Choice and our local options right now on WESH.com. Also starting today in Orange County, parents can begin voting on whether they want Orange Center Elementary to become a charter school. The district is partnering with the nonprofit Lift Orlando to create a new school model. Ballots will be accepted all this week and next Tuesday. The results will be counted at a public meeting coming up next Thursday.
Crew 11's now just days away from leaving the International Space Station. This is a photo that was shared by one of the astronauts. NASA says Crew 11's targeting an undocking from the ISS on Wednesday no earlier than 5 p.m. Their early return comes after a crew member experienced a medical issue last week. The administration has not released the affected crew member's identity and has remained tight-lipped about the specifics of the medical issue. Crew 11 is expected to splash down off the coast of California on Thursday.
As for man's mission to return to the moon, NASA says the Space Launch System, or SLS, rocket supporting Artemis 2 is going to roll out as early as Saturday. Once the rocket and spacecraft have been moved, crews will get to work prepping the launch pad. At the end of the month, NASA said they will do a pre-launch test called a wet dress rehearsal. If that goes well, NASA will begin a flight readiness review. The Artemis 2 launch window could then open as early as Friday, February 6th.
And today, SpaceX is planning to launch another batch of Starlink satellites into Earth's orbit. A Falcon 9 rocket scheduled to lift off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. Another Starlink mission is scheduled for Wednesday.